let's talk about Tron Legacy. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the stuff that was in this thing blurred out. So there you go, the disc. So it doesn't, slide around now. Yeah, we are going to talk about Tron Legacy today. So Tron Legacy is, of course, the Legacy sequel to the 1980s movie Tron. This came out in 2010, yes, 15 years ago. Feel old, because I do. But Tron Legacy is, of course, about Kevin's son, Sam Flynn. A few years after the events of the original Tron, Kevin, played by Jeff Bridges, forgive me, basically rebuilt the Tron game world. He rebuilt it, and he was trying to make a perfect utopia. He had help with Tron, actual Tron, and of course also Clue. Clue is now its own person and stuff. And forgive me, I'm sick. At some point, Kevin goes missing, which means it is now up to Sam, 20 years later, to go into the grid and figure out what happened to his dad, and finally see the grid as his father promised to show him when he was younger. And of course, Sam finds a world where now Tron, instead of being the way that it looks in the original film, where it's all weird, it's now completely black with really cool neon highlights. And of course, this is how I know Tron to look. And yeah, Sam goes, finds a new world, and it's clear that Clue is up to some shady business. There's also a character named Cora, who is played by Olivia Wilde, forgive me. And yeah, this is a pretty good movie. And of course, Jeff Bridges also returns as both Q and Kevin. And like I said, I like this movie actually quite a bit. I like this movie more than the original film, actually. And I do stand by that. I think this is a gorgeous looking movie, especially considering that it came out 15 years ago. The CG still looks pretty good, and the set design is amazing. I love the way the neon looks. I love sort of the black complemented with the light. I think the director who also directed Top Gun Maverick actually did a really good job at crafting a very interesting world and stuff like that. I love Kevin. I do think, honestly, considering all the aging effects that we've gotten since this movie, Clue looks pretty good, especially considering that I think he blends into the world rather nicely, and him being a computer, looking very computer generated, works because Tron is a computer, That's not the best sort of brushing off that you can do. I'm sure that there's, that there are some people who just can't accept what he looks like, but I think he actually looks pretty good, especially for the time. And we've seen that technology get both better and worse over the last 15 years. So, I appreciate this look. That also leads me to Sam, who's the main character of this movie. He is pretty good. I think this movie and the first film don't really have great characters. It's more so carried by good performances. The bar owner, Zeus, that dude is hamming it up. Jeff Bridges, I think, is actually doing a rather good job playing both Kevin and Q. And I do like, for the most part, most of the performances. They're pretty average at best. And that leads me to the negatives. Like I said, I don't really like the characters. And I do think that this movie suffers from the "and then this happens" style of storytelling that is generally considered to be not good storytelling. There's a bunch of examples of oh, this is happening in the plot, and then this happens, and that's a bit maybe lazy writing. I don't think the original film was also well written, but you know, it's interesting. And I will say they do a good enough job at brushing off the the programs in Tron see the users, you know, the people who program them as deities. They do brush it off within the idea that Q has sort of vilified the real world and Kevin himself rather nicely. So I do appreciate that they didn't just like brush it off, but they do sort of explain why that religious aspect isn't necessarily there anymore. But no, I really like this movie. This is, of course, the first Tron movie I ever see. I just randomly, I think, got this. This is my cousin's copy. As I mentioned in my Green Lantern review, thanks to my grandmother, I just got a few movies from my cousin like a few years back, and I literally, I think there were some more, but like I kept Tron Legacy, her copy of Tron Legacy, and I kept Green Lantern, and then sort of, you know, donated the rest of her movies. So shout out to that cousin. Thank you. I actually did have a prior copy of this movie, but this is, of course, this actually has its, you know, slip in and is like a bit more official than the version that I had. But I remember renting this movie and liking it. I did think it was a little boring, and I do think that I can now that I'm an adult appreciate the actual quality of filmmaking, because this is, I guess, a little boring in some cases. But I think that was just me, maybe as a youngster, detecting bad writing, if anything. But no, I watched this in 2011, no idea what Tron is, and then when I'm a senior in high school, I watched this movie. So that is my sort of history with Tron. And yeah, I ultimately like this series. It's a very niche series, and I'm not like the biggest fan of Tron, but I am very excited to see what you know, Tron Ares has to offer, even though I do not like Jared Leto at all. I'm excited to see what Tron Ares has in store. So hopefully Tron Ares is good. But yeah, comment below, let me know. What do you think of this movie? Do you like it? Do you not like it? All that kind of good stuff. What is your thoughts on the whole Tron series? What is your history of it? All the fun stuff, comment below, let me know. And remember that God, He made special. He loves you very much. Hope you have a very lovely day. Hope you had a very lovely week, as always. Thank you for watching this video, and God bless y'all. Also, quick addendum, minor spoilers. Something happens to Tron in this movie, and I know that, like, Jared Leto is Ares, and Ares is probably going to be the main character of Tron Ares, but I do hope that they bring back Tron in some way, because I don't know, I feel like he hasn't really had his chance to shine. I forgot to mention this in my review proper, but yeah, like, Tron really hasn't had his chance to really shine in these movies, and I just hope that they maybe bring back Tron in this new one. Also, the discs, like the data discs in the original Tron, felt more like frisbees, to the point where Ram, who's one of the main characters, or one of the side characters of the original movie, literally uses it to dish up water, you know, to drink water. So I do much prefer the buzzsaw thing, or the buzzsaw look, and just the overall aesthetic of this movie over, you know, the frisbee data discs. There you go. Now I'm ready for Tron Ares.